Welcome back to another tutorial. Today's video is on how to do a super ultra black dramatic smoky eye. So if you like more of the glam look, then this one is going to be for you. This has actually come as a request from over on Instagram from one of my clients who's going to a 1920s. So you're going to be going to something that's a bit of a Great Gatsby, or you're going to be wanting something that's going to be switching it up for going to a really glam party, then this video is going to be for you. So keep watching. I'm going to give you my tips on how to blend, make sure it all falls in seamlessly, and how to intensify colour so that it is the most extreme black eye. We've had tons of new followers recently, so if you are new here, hey, I'm Claire and I'm from Harry John, and I bring you DIY makeup and hair tutorials so you can create your own looks at home without the need of a professional. I also do some professional ones as well, so find the right playlist for you. If you click on the playlist, you'll be able to see all hair tutorials or makeup tutorials, whatever you're looking for. First up, you are going to need to prime your eye. So regardless of what you've got at home, you might have your favourite eye primer, you might not have any primers. So if you don't, then go for your foundation or your concealer. I like to use this from MAC, and this is Painterly Paint Pot. So you don't need much. You need to buff this in because it can go cakey if you put it on too thick. And if you are using this product, make sure you either put the lid back on it or you put it on a surface upside down to stop the air getting into it, because it will dry out. I'm going to put it all over the eye. So I'm going to go. I'll pop all links for anything, products and other videos will all be linked in the comments below. So just buff out that product just to make sure that none of it is clumpy anyway, and you can go over and put another layer on. I'm applying the paint pot with PC53 from Peaches and Cream. It's this lovely super flat brush, and then you want to do the same under the eye, all along your lash line. Another little layer over the top of there, and then you're going to repeat that on the other eye. This is M109 from the Molly O'Brien, and these are available on Eldora, whose lashes I use. I think that's where I got it from anyway, but I will put a link below. These are lovely fluffy brushes as well. I've got quite a few different ones of these. So that is our all buffed in and the base on. So now we've got a nice, completely clear base to start working on, which eyes look a little bit weird. For today's eyes, I'm going to be using the Stacey Marie Carnival palette, and this is the XL Pro palette, and I'll just put my finger in the black. That was a bit silly. To start off with, I always like to start with kind of a contoury type colour. So Fade, which is this taupey kind of light brown colour. So I'm just going to carry on with the buffing brush that I use for the concealer. I'm going to take a little bit of that, and we're just going to start with creating our shadow line. So I've literally done one dip and just start building that colour up first. Now I've got quite a large space between my eyelid and my brow because I haven't got much of an eyelid because it's all hidden underneath. So if you've only got a small line, make sure you stay within your socket area. It doesn't matter if this goes over the eyelid because the eyelid's going to be going black anyway. You can feel where your socket bone is, and I'm going in my socket bone and bringing it up. So this is going to create a transition, and it will stop your eyeshadow going patchy by building it up. So you're not piling a load of colour on first and then trying to blend it out. We're putting a tiny bit, so we've only dotted it once at the beginning, going back in, picking a bit more colour up and gradually bringing that shade up. So what will happen is that this will start to define the eyes and create a shadow, almost like you would a contour for your cheekbone. Now, because this dark smoke is going along the 1920s vibe, I'm going to keep it quite circular, and some people's eyes will suit it that circular, but some will suit it winged. I do prefer more of a wing because I like to kind of lift and make it look like I'm 10 years younger, but and this is just going to help the whole transition of blending, because that's done part of the blending for us, and it starts to create a shadow. So if you have got a hooded eye also, this little bit of adding that shadow in will help to start bringing your eyes and lifting your eyes. You see between the two eyes now I've got a bit more definition on this one, and this one wants shaping, so I'm just going to repeat that on the other side. Now, moving it on, once we've got that shadow colour in, you can now kind of go on to any colour you wanted to. So you want to be going darker. I am going to stick with this nice chocolate brown because I've got green eyes, and because this has got a little bit of an orangey base to it, a little bit of a reddy base. it will bring out the green and make it look a bit more intense. And this is going to be our transition colour into the black. We are going to go with Intuition. Right, so I'm going to pick some of this up and then we're going right into our socket. So we're going right into where you can feel that piece of bone that curves around that holds your eyeball in. I'm going to push the brush into there and start wiggling side to side. Get used to your colours as well. If you'll maybe using different palettes and things like that. If you want to try the Stacey Marie, I've put a link below as well. So all I'm doing is holding this brush in that socket and moving the brush from side to side. I'm not rounding it. I'm not doing these round, buffy brush strokes or anything. I'm letting the brush do all the work and I'm just moving it side to side. And this brush shape, because it curves and goes up in the middle, this will go into the socket line, and where this tapers off each side will do that blending for us. Where if you've got more of a flat brush like this, it's more based for blending out those colours and merging them into each other. Just keep going in and building that colour up till we get a really nice dark. Okay, another Molly O'Brien brush is this M07 that I was talking about that's got this fluffier edge. I'm just going to use this to buff the edges. So now we're going to do these small circles and just blend those two colours into each other. And I'm going to take it slightly in on the edge of the nose just to make sure that's nice and softened. I'm not obsessed with blending. And then blend this edge round on the outer edge here, and then just make sure all that. So now we want a nice blended colours into each other, and we do that again on the other eye. Next, switch up to black, and we're going to go to this Lights Out. Going back to the 019 from Molly O'Brien, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of Lights Out. Now remember, you're working with black now. Black can be a bugger to work with, so just be careful on putting this. So we're going to go all over the eyelid. I'm just going to move the brush, so I'm just wiggling the brush from side to side again. So this is going to start merging into that chocolate that we've just done. And we're going to have this soft gradient, but black can be a pain. If you get it all underneath, don't worry about it. Pin the brush into the colour and then patting it onto the eyelid. And then we're just going to wiggle again from side to side to get rid of any harsh lines. So we don't want to be able to see this big semicircle of black. We want to blend from black to brown to taupe to nude. And I'm going to show you when we finish the eyes a really good way how to sharpen this top bit up as well. So just stay nice and control with it. I'm holding my brush like halfway, just over halfway down. So you don't want to be like really close and stabbing it on. You don't want to be holding it on the end and wiggling it around everywhere because it's just going to blast everywhere. Back to the fluffier brush. And again, I'm not going to start blending this up because we don't want to bring this black up. All I'm going to do is just move this almost along the line that it's on. But just make sure that the chocolate and the black are blended in nicely. You can clean your brush off, so you can have a piece of tissue and go and clean your brush off. And then repeat on the other eye. Now I've got this little flat paddle brush which is off HD Brows, and I'm going to pick up some of the brown that we had, so the Intuition, so the darker one, and I'm going to apply some of this under the lower lash line. Okay, so now it starts to look a bit ghostly, a little bit freaky, but it will come together. And one thing people always freak out about is doing this dark all the way around your eyes as well, but actually makes your eyes more prominent. Precision Gel Liner from Illamasqua. Okay, you do not need a lot. This product goes a long way. It is amazing. It does not move. You've got plenty of playtime with it. You want to do a liquid eyeliner, you can use it on your waterline, and you can use it as an eyeshadow base, which is what we're going to be doing. So I've got a little bit of this. I've got this really, really tiny brush here. This is out of a makeup palette I had, so I'm going to put this on the waterline. So it's suitable for waterline, it's suitable to build up colour, and it is great as a winged liner as well, so if you use a really fine brush. You've got a nice bit of playtime, and then when it sets like rock. So we're going to go along the waterline like that, and then we're also going to go up inside the lash line, so you just blink ever so gently. So some people will have their eyes done and you will be able to see flashy colours still underneath your lashes, so you'll want to go and tightline your eye underneath there. Okay, once we've done that, and make sure I'm right into the corners, I'm going to smudge that off into the lashes a tiny bit. Black lights out and just pat over the top. If you ever do anything in your waterline and the colour slips away, your eyes might get watery or something and the colour seems to come off, if you pat over the top with a matte eyeshadow, it will stop it moving. So I've included a link to a video in the comments. Get an intense look with any of these colours without going buying a ton of different pencils. So wherever you want the colour to be darker, go there first with your brush. Then if you do make a mistake, then you can still blend that out easy. As I blend it, I'm kind of going on the line and pulling it down. So each time I'm going slightly further outside the line, and that will just help blend your gel liner without starting to play with it and push it out too much. It'll just do it nice and gently. So kind of pull it in, but just work slightly outside the line each time you go. That you can see how much darker that looks already. But it's going to go even darker still. So we're going to matte that off. I'm going to go back to our small brush that we had the black on before, pick up some more of that black and go over the top. So I'm just going to pat this on to the eyelid and over the gel liner. So it sets the gel liner, but it also intensifies it, and it'll make it look ultra smoky. So remember not to go too high, because we don't want to be putting that black right up high. But now it's got this a little bit more of a nicer finish. You can use in the smaller areas, go back to your tiny brush and pat this over. You can work with small brushes as well. Don't be afraid to work with what brushes feels comfortable too, because people have this misconception that you've got to use exactly what it says on the thing. If it says that it's for the brows, you can use it for the brows. So use whatever feels comfortable for you. So that is basically how I build my eyeshadow colour for clients, or how I teach them how to do it for themselves, and now we're teaching you. So you're going to finish that off with some mascara. If you want to see how to put false lashes on, there is this video you can go and check out, and that is idiot proof. It's an absolute game changer on how to put your eyelashes on, and it works like a dream. I'm going to be using these lashes from Eldora, and these are style M112. Got a really nice flutter, and it will just help bring my eyes up a little bit for more of a youthful look. Before you start anything, I am using my trusty little simple wipes. I'm just going to use one of these. You might have baby wipes, you might have a cotton pad with micellar water, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to wrap this around my finger and take off. I'm going to do a quick switch onto base, and if you want to see that, you can see that here. And that is my finished look. I promised you a little way on how to tidy up your eyebrows. This is a product from HD Brows. It has its own little sharpener on the end, and it is this little concealer in a pen. If you go too high with your eye makeup, or your brows are looking a little bit bushy and they need tidying up, then this is your saving grace. You're going to go underneath your eyebrow. It's also good for anyone that's like me who has got eyebrows that aren't symmetrical and you're trying to even them out. So this side I'm going to go a little bit close to the hairs to bring that up, and then you can even carve them out on the top if you want to. So if you want them to look a little bit more tidier on the edges, and you're playing with shapes. Then you're going to go back to your concealer brush that you used at the end. So this really nice thin tapered one. This was Peaches and Cream PC53. Don't forget, I've linked all these products in underneath. And you're just going to drag out. So I'm using the brush on the flat side, so we've got the really thin edge running along the brow. I'm dragging it there. I'm going to drag the product out to the taper as well. And then where it's slightly thicker, I'm just going to raise my brows and not touching my eyelashes, and just gently drag that product down. So all I'm doing is kind of pushing and pulling it, but as I'm pulling it, I'm coming away from the skin. And it just crisps everything up, so it just looks more finished, more tidy, and more pro. And if you use a little bit too much and it's not quite looking right, you can go back with your brush that you used for buffing. Make sure there's nothing on it, and just gently go with your eyeshadow along it. It'll just soften off. If there's any help that you need, please let me know in the comments. If you're recreating anything, then come over onto Instagram and tag me in over on your pictures. If any of these tutorials have been useful, I would love to see what you've been creating. Thank you so much for watching. Please give this a big thumbs up, share with your friends, save it for later, whatever. And also don't forget to subscribe.